So One Piece is currently on a hiatus right now. Basically, they're taking a break before they continue making new episodes. And my brother is telling me how they're basically getting closer and closer to the end of the show. So I wanted to take the time while they're on hiatus to actually catch up. And as you can tell, I'm currently on episode 405. And where I'm at is a perfect place, I think, for me to stop before I just kind of give them my thoughts on the show so far and like what I think about it and how much I've been enjoying the adventure so far. And yeah, so let's jump into this dang old video. Alright, so basically where I stopped was basically a big pivotal point, like Luffy and his gang, so the Strats, were basically fighting off against the Admiral and like some of the warlords, the sea warlords, and Kuma, freaking bear paw boy, just started the Strats away and just sending them somewhere, and it just basically makes me wonder, like, what the frick is happening here, and like, is Kuma on their side, is Kuma a bad guy, and what did he whisper to freaking Rayleigh, or whatever his name is, the old guy, and my brain is just confused on like where things are headed, so I thought it'd just be a perfect place to give me a cliffhanger while I chat about just the adventure so far, and like the crew members, so yeah, let's just go into the various crew members, and we'll just speed run through them. We'll start from the newest to the oldest, and my thoughts on them. So Brook is the newest member, and I really like him just because he's dumb skeleton boy and how fast he joined the crew. Luffy's just like, I like you, so join the crew, and Brook's just like, sure. And then on top of that, he's also just great friends with Laboon, and Laboon's like one of my favorite freaking side characters so far. I don't know why I like the Dumbo Whale, and you know, Krunkus, I think that's his name, the doctor boy. I like those two characters and like their backstory and stuff. It just, I've enjoyed those characters, and the fact that Brook is tied to them, it just makes me like Brook even more. Next, let's talk about Franky, and he definitely had the weirdest way of joining the crew. Basically, the Franky family, people tied to Franky, they basically stole his trunks, and Franky was running through the town bum naked, and Franky family brought the trunks to Luffy so then Franky could talk with Luffy, and it just, the fact that everything that happened just so that Luffy could talk to Franky joining the crew, just, it's definitely the wildest way of joining the crew. Next, let's talk about Robin, and Robin is definitely one of the baddies on the crew. You know, her and Nami are freaking, you know. But yeah, no, Robin, the way she joined was definitely like really easy, and it was just really simple. Like, she was basically like, you saved my life, so let me join your crew. And Luffy's like, shoot, okay. It was so goofy. But yeah, that and like the whole fight with the CP9s was just wild, and like it was such a roller coaster, especially when like they were both standing on the towers, and Luffy's like, I need to hear you say that you want to live, and like that whole scene just made me go. It brought like freaking like tears to my eyes. It made me so freaking happy when she was like, I want to live. Like, oh my gosh, that was such a good episode. Yeah, Robin's cool. I like her freaking devil fruit and how she's able to like make multiple limbs and whatnot. Is freaking cool. Next, let's talk about freaking Chopper. I don't know why I like this dumb old deer boy. He's so goofy. I like how like whenever somebody compliments him, he's just like gotta be like, God, you're not flattering me. It just makes me so dang old happy. Like, Chopper is he's just a simple little guy that's freaking Doctor Boy. Every time somebody gets injured, he's like, doctor, we need a doctor. And then he's like, oh, that's me. Oh gosh, it's so goofy. I like Chopper. He's just a little transforming reindeer boy. It just makes me, his character makes me always happy, you know, a little happy little dude. And then the way that Dr. Reed sends him out is freaking makes me so happy and sad at the same time. Like the way that she was able to make those petals from snow so then he could kind of remember his freaking Dr. Hidenuke, and like it just was so great. Like, it's like great imagery, and it's just so like amazing. Like crying and stuff. It just, oh yeah, she was such a good send off. Alright, next we're talking about the baddie of the crew, you know, her and Robin, but like freaking Nami, they freaking make her like the fan service of the whole show. And you know, like, I'm not gonna complain, but you know, she just is, you know. But yeah, you know, she freaking likes her money, but like, I think she's also really, really strong just because the weapon that Usopp made her, you know, the Climate Tech, and like Perfect Climate Tech, like, it's a freaking cool weapon. Like the fact that she can make mirages with it, and then also like make storm clouds and like, you know, heat bubbles, cold bubbles. Both the girls are baddies, but they could also like freaking fight. You know, this is cool. And the moment when she truly became a Straw Hat, like it always hits me. Like, when she's stabbing at that Arlong symbol on her side. And Luffy basically just comes up and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go clap Arlong's cheeks. Well, after, placing the hat on her head, and she remembers that that's his greatest treasure. And like the fact that he goes claps cheeks after that, and like he just was super serious. Basically from that moment on, you could tell like, yep, she's a straw hat, she's definitely gonna adventure with these boys. Alright, and let's talk about Sanji. I just like the way he joins the crew, and he had to send off with his cooking crew. The fact that thanked them all for like everything they've done for him, especially Zeef. Like, it just made me so happy and like sad at the same time. It was just, they were all trying to be big tough guys, but they all start crying. Like, it's so goofy, but it's so good. And then I also like that he's like one of the strongest members on the crew, even though he really only has his kicks. It's like he doesn't have devil fruit powers, and he doesn't have blades like Zoro, but he's still like one of the top boys. Like, I definitely think it's Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Like, that's like the power scale. Like, those three are just the top dogs of the crew. Like, each of them were strong in their own right. Yeah, I like freaking Sanji, even though he's a freaking simp. Like, it's understandable. Freaking Robin and Nami are baddies, but like, he's just a simp all over the place. But I still like him. He's a funny guy. He's also just a good cook. Now let's talk about Usopp. He's a freaking roller coaster, this guy. Like, he has crazy highs and he has crazy lows. Like, whenever he's doing, actually cool things, like when he's actually beating people, like during Arlong, when he was actually able to beat a guy by himself, or like whenever he's able to like overcome challenges, and like when he was actually proving that he was actually a good sniper. Like, when he actually shows up, he's freaking cool. Like, I love Usopp. But like, damn, does he have some crazy lows. Like, one of the craziest lows for me was when he freaking knows Mary is like going downhill, and like Mary's just slowly on her last legs. The fact that he had to fight with Luffy, and like Luffy fought with him, it's just, that whole episode just freaking broke me. Like, I was just so conflicted the whole time. It was so good, but like, it was just so sad at the same time. Like, god damn. And then when like he wanted to rejoin the crew, and like they were like setting sail and like leaving, he had to like apologize. Like, oh my gosh, Usopp, he's definitely a wild roller coaster. I like Usopp. He has crazy highs, and definitely had one of the craziest lows, but I'm pretty sure it won't get that low again. But oh my gosh, was that a wild low. Alright, and then next let's talk about Zoro. I definitely think he was the easiest person to join the crew. Legit, Luffy just had to get his swords, and he joined like just like that. And it was just funny how fast he joined. But I think Zoro is definitely, like, every show needs that like cool guy that does some cool stuff. Like, of course he has some wacky times, but like, this guy has so many like wickedly cool moments, and they know what they're doing with Zoro. Like, he's like the Levi of the show. He's just the baddie of the show. Like, he does some crazy stuff. So I just want to talk about some of his crazy moments when he basically takes on all those pirates that like were on that island before Alvesta and whatnot. That was a crazy moment. Another crazy moment was when he cut that guy that was like metal. He just like was able to slice that boy up. Like, I thought that was a cool moment. Another moment was when he was basically trying to get those swords from that one pawn shop, and how he's just like, yeah, this curse sword, I'm gonna just chuck it in the air, and if it cuts my arm, it cuts my arm. If it doesn't, it's my blade. And like, that's so wild. Like, you're a swordsman, you need your freaking hands. And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna let fate decide. Like, what? Oh, and another crazy moment was when he basically used like his 9 sword styles, and like he was able to like make 3 of himself and like have 9 blades instead of just 3. Like, what is happening? But definitely one of my like craziest moments for this guy, for Zoro, and the moments that like I respect the most, and I thought it was really cool how they depicted it, was when he was fighting Kuma, and like Luffy was out, the whole crew was out, everybody was out except for some people. Like Sanji was out. The fact that he was gonna sacrifice himself to save the rest of the crew members, to save Luffy, and the fact that he took Luffy's pain. Not only did he take it, but he like took it standing, and rather than like Sanji finding him like on the ground, just like on his last breaths, like he's just standing there with his arms crossed, and he's just like, there's blood everywhere, and he's just like, don't worry about it, nothing happened. Like, that just blows my mind. Like, he just took all that pain and rather than like suffering and just laying there on the ground, he's like standing there, just like psh, psh, like just dust off the shoulder, like he's crazy. And then lastly, we gotta talk about the captain, the boy himself, Luffy. And this guy's just a freaking goofball. Like, I like him so much. This show is like a very dang old simple formula. Like, everybody gets clapped up, everything goes to crap, but then at the last moment, Luffy shows up, the music kicks in, and he turns crap around. Like, it's a simple formula, and it happens every single time, but like, it's so good. And like, if you're into it, it happens every time. It hits you every time. It's a great time. By far, the coolest moment for me for Luffy was when he freaking clapped Bellamy's cheeks. Like that was freaking wild. They went crazy on that. Like the fact that him and Zoro were just like getting beat up in the bar because Luffy was like, "There's no point in fighting these guys. There's no reason in fighting these guys." He just let them beat him up. Once he figured out that Bellamy and his crew stole Cricket's freaking treasure that he's been searching for years, that's when he went crazy. He just clapped that boy's cheeks in one freaking punch. Like that whole scene was wild, and it was so cool. That was definitely for me Luffy's coolest moment. Alrighty, and now that I've kind of quickly described like the crew members so far and like what I liked about them, I thought I'd talk a little bit about episodes I liked and like maybe moments that were kind of sad and like memorable. And the best way to do this is to go into my freaking character sheet / episode remembering thingamajig that I've been making. And basically all it is just this dumb thing on Canva. I've just been taking screenshots of characters that show up and also episodes I like. And this thing is constantly like, the way I'm doing it is changing, but like I like the way I'm doing it now, where I put like episodes I like on the left, and then I just also add the characters that show up on the right. Yeah, you can see various episodes that I liked in the first 100 episodes. In the next 100, I actually show like screenshots of the episodes I like. Of course, there was more episodes in this first season that I liked that I should have taken more screenshots of, but I was like, I just want to take pictures of these characters, like this dumb old man. I like this dumb old man. I remember when I saw this dog, I'm like, that'd be funny if they show this dog in the future. So if ever like a character comes back or like is shown later in the episode, I always try to like add some kind of detail that's like, oh, this character, changed. Like, I thought this was completely wacky when I saw this the first time. It was so goofy how she went from this in episode 1 to this in 52. And yeah, like, whenever I see a character I like, or there's just something I want to remember, I just try to take a screenshot of it. So this was basically the first 100 episodes, and then you'll see right around here is where I kind of hit my stride, and I'm like, okay, this is how I want to do it. Like I said, characters on the right, screenshots on the left, but now you actually see the screenshots, and it's really nice, especially when I'm doing a video like this. I could just jump back into this like spreadsheet thing, or character flowchart, whatever you want to call it. I have no idea what I'm calling this, but it just helps me memorize like episodes. So like if there's ever a time when I ever want to go back and watch an episode, I'm like, when was that let's say Zoro clapped the metal dude, like, oh, I could just go back to episode 119. Boom, there it is. Or Luffy spit some facts. I really liked how this was when Vivi was kind of like about to break down, kind of, and like she was wondering what she should do. Should she go find her friend and like talk to him? What was his name? See, that's why this is great. Koza. She was like, I need to go find Koza, but then like if she went to where Koza was, she wouldn't be able to stop the war in time. So Luffy was like, enough of that, we're gonna go find Crocodile. And he spit some crazy bars, and he also punches her, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I thought this was a bit of a goofy scene when Luffy senses Gator. It looks Gatorish. I thought that was so funny, so I had to like take a screenshot of it. But let's see what other stuff. So yeah, I just want just taking some time, running back through memory lane. Some side characters. I remember wondering who this guy was. Then it turned out it was this guy, but older. it's just weird, nothing more to say. But I really do like it because for stuff like this, like when they have just this random episode, I can't speak. When they have this random episode where they just drop a bunch of characters, but that's the beauty of this, like whenever a character shows up again, I could just write down what their freaking where their freaking show up and like when they disappear or it's just so nice and like I could freaking remember dumb episodes. This was definitely one of my favorite dumb episodes. Like I really liked their interactions with these wolves. It was just so funny how like they're like, "Yo, you guys are making so much noise. Quiet down." Nami like punches him at some point because she was like, "Yo, don't talk about my treasure" or something. And it's just so goofy. I really like the wacky dance they do. I'll probably show a clip of that. It's one of my favorite like side story episodes that were just goofy. But yeah, I also like this freaking. You learn the name later. I don't know how to pronounce it quite yet, but I think it's 300 and some. You learn about this as well, and that's the freaking beauty of this. I really like this little spreadsheet that I've been making. It's just been fun watching the show and also developing this sheet. So let's go on to the next 100. This is when Luffy fights Zoro, and he gets this, his the scar on the center of his chest. I wonder if it stays, because I've seen some what's it called some future screenshots of future episodes, and he does have this X mark scar. So I'm curious if this is where it started, and that's why I saved that detail. This is when CP9 comes into play, and I'm just curious. Like I was like, who the heck is this guy? And of course, it gets to be revealed that it's freaking people that we meet on the right here. So the people on the left, I tried to take screenshots and show like, oh, this was him, this was him, and then, of course, the episode that was a freaking roller coaster, and it's still crazy to me. Like just watching this episode, it just makes me like so emotional. Like it's a crazy episode. I definitely felt extremely invested for this like 100 episodes. Just everything that was going on with the Going Merry, just this whole fight trying to get Robin back. It was very investing. I remember cranking this out really fast just because I wanted to see like these two details, how they play out. Like I wanted to see how they get Robin back. I want to see what they do to get like another ship, or what are they gonna do to fix the Merry. Hopefully, it was also just great seeing like each character like get stronger. Like for instance, Luffy, he learns his second gear and third gear in this 100 episodes, and we don't really get this revealed until early in 300s. We also see Chopper, how he has a monster form. We see Sanji's Devil Foot, and we see Zoro's nine sword style, whatever you want, Asura. It's just this 300 episodes had a lot of like crazy moments and crazy things in the background that you wanted to see the conclusions to. Like I said, the what's gonna happen to the Going Merry, and then how are they gonna get Robin back? Like these two things made me like crank out these episodes really freaking fast. Now let's move on to 300. I definitely enjoyed this one too, especially the start. We get to see what happens to the Going Merry. We see Luffy clap up, what's his face? Oh jeez, see that's why that's why I like this thing. We see him clap up Lucci, and then the fact that Merry came to the rescue, like it's just, oh my gosh. This specifically, like the crazy like relief and like happiness of them beating Lucci and the other CP9 boys like was crazy. And then just how much of like a turnaround it was when Mary's basically on her last legs, and they give her the proper send off of burning her. Like, oh my gosh, it was just like so. It went from being so happy and like escaping the whole Marines and whatnot to like just being so freaking sad. It was such a crazy like high and low. Like, oh my gosh. But I definitely love it when this show like references old characters, or like they try to mention old characters. And I definitely enjoyed seeing like Kobe and this guy again. I can't say his name. It's too much. But I also just love the callbacks, like especially when they get their bounties. I enjoyed that episode. Like freaking Chopper's 50 berries. That's so funny the first time I saw that. And another one that I really liked was episode 324, when the wanted posters actually spread and you see like all these old faces and you see the reactions to them actually like becoming like bigger pirates and getting bounties and whatnot. Of course, the battle between Ace and Blackbeard, like we finally see what Blackbeard can do. Luffy ran into him in that one town before Skypiea, but we didn't really know what Blackbeard was about until this episode, and it was wild seeing the fruit that that Blackberry got, and then you seeing how it combats aces, and man, was that great. But there's a bunch of characters in the Thriller bark, and that was just, it was wild trying to like screenshot all these because there was just so much to keep track of. So like Brooks Shadow, named Ryoma, Sanji Sato was Inupe, Zoro's was Jigoro, and then I really liked Oars. I hope they do some more like lore on like Oars and like the old big pirates or whatever, wherever he came from. And then Kuma, he returns again. This, like I said, like 200 episodes, but we don't really see what he does until like, I don't know. I guess we do see what he does. He vanishes people in this episode. I see Robin use wings. I'm like, what the heck? Robin does wings. Yeah, there's just every time there's something dumb or like there's a new character, I like to just quickly take a freaking screenshot and see if they somehow come back in the future. This whole like Duval section, the precursor to like going to like the Fishman Island or whatever it's called. It felt like a side story to me, but it seems like it's more important than I thought it was gonna be. Like Duval, he comes into play quite a lot during the early 400 episodes that I'm on currently. We also see Hachi come into play. Like I wasn't expecting Hachi to come back. Like I thought he was just gonna be some old character that was a part of all along. But it's interesting that he came back. Like I actually didn't mind Hachi like when he first came in, but I didn't think he was gonna be coming back. And then just the massive amount of like character drops on 391 was wild. Like I had to freaking, this episode took me forever to watch just because I had to screenshot each of the characters. But yeah, so far out of the pirate captains I like the weird dismemberment guy where he could like put up the big circles. This kid guy, I don't know. The fact that he claps kids for like not really believing in the One Piece is kind of weird, but like, I like that he likes Luffy because Luffy's like, yo, I'm gonna have the One Piece. But she's a baddie. She eats a lot like Luffy. I forget what her power is. Rayleigh, I don't know how you say his name, but like I like this guy. He's a cool old guy. Bippo, he's like the only side pirate of this law guy that I took a picture of just because he's a freaking panda. And then Kizaru is the big marine admiral dude, and he's cracked right now. I have no idea like how they're gonna beat him and like what they're gonna do in the future, like to make this guy like come back and like show off his powers. But like he seems pretty dang strong. I'm not gonna lie. Like the power scales on this show, like of course it's like up and down, and like you feel like they were stronger at one point, like when they first introduced him, and then they somehow got weaker. And I hope they don't really do that to Kizaru, as long as it goes in some cool way. Some side details that I thought was interesting, and why I like this dumb character memorization sheet, whatever I'm gonna call it, is this detail with the Viver cards, or I don't even know how you say it. They showed this card back at episode 101, when Ace gives him that card, and then now it's referenced in 381, and there's some stuff happening to our boy Ace, and it's a looming thing that you're wondering about, and they talk about every now and again, and it makes me wonder, like what is up with Ace. And the ending of 381, it had these big creatures. I have no idea what they are. I thought this was cool when Luffy actually gets this like monster stare that references Shanks. How Shanks was able to scare off that sea creature. Luffy was able to scare off Duval's bowl. I think Duval's bowl. Like, hey, oh boy, he's getting there. You know, he's getting cracked. This dude saves Giant Boy. So I just wanted to save that note because I'm curious if Giant Boy will come into play later. And then we got a big King of the Pirates lore dump and how he was, the first mate of the King of the Pirates. I really liked, just learning more about the King of the Pirates. And then we also learned that Kronkus was, somehow tied at some point to the King of Pirates. So, hey, bringing back my boy, Kronkus and Laboon. And then this is where we are currently. I don't really have any details after 401. These are just, templates, and then I could just copy it. But the crazy detail that I want to remember is, of course, this guy's name. They didn't really bring up his name until 401. And then this is what I'm like. I want to know in the future, like, who the frick is Kuma? What does he whisper in this moment? And what the frick is going on in this episode? The fact that he's booping people away. We got Rayleigh fighting the Admiral. Like, the conclusion to where I'm at now is just what is happening. So I can't wait to finish this video and actually get back to grinding because I've taken way too long to actually make this video. So I want to just get back to watching it, but this is basically my cliffhanger until I finish this video. So let's quickly talk about my predictions, and yeah. Alright, so to finish this video off, let's just jump into my One Piece predictions so far. Of course, these may change, or I may add more in the future. If I do make another one of these, I probably might do another one around episode 800, 900. We'll see. If I feel like just cranking out the rest, I might just make another one at the very end. I definitely want to make one when I do catch up, but I will see if I make another one in between, because this whole break thing is just blowing me up. But the first thing I want to talk about is this dang old cloudy Luffy that I've constantly been seeing. Like, every time I try to look up something, I try to avoid spoilers, but this dumb form of Luffy keeps popping up. Like, it's apparently big somehow. I don't know what it is, if it's one of the gears or something like that, and I don't want to know, but I keep freaking getting pictures of it, and when I went to Japan I also saw it, so it's constantly everywhere. It's a freaking spoiler, but I don't know how he gets it, so I just wanted to break on how he might get it, and so I just want to make lay out some thoughts on one of my dumb thoughts that I thought would be a silly prediction is, maybe a precursor is he has to fight Enel again, and he somehow gains this power because of some element that he gets from Enel, and the only reason I think about this, and I think Enel might be some kind of trigger for this form of Luffy, is because of the dumb ring thing, circle thing on his back. It just reminds me of Enel's dumb circle thing, and we do know Enel escaped Luffy and gang from the battle in Skypiea and whatnot, but we don't know what Enel's plans are, and we don't know when he will run into the Straw Hats again, Mugiwara. We don't know when he's gonna run into them again, so I think it'd be interesting and kind of makes sense that he'd gain these kind of god powers from a god, but that's just a prediction, and the beauty of predictions is you don't know if you're gonna be right or wrong. And so now let's just move on to my other prediction that I have, and it basically is, when do I think how long do I think the 1000 Sunny is gonna last? So we know the Mary lasted roughly a little under 300 episodes, and the 1000 Sunny was built on episode 321. And now it was built by Frankie and his brother, and their father figure Tom built the ship that the King of the Pirates used to go all around the world. And of course, I'm guessing that ship's still alive, but we have no idea. But that means this ship will last probably for the rest of their journey. So I'm thinking that this show will come to its end once, 1,000 episodes hit, because the Thousand Sunny is called the Thousand Sunnies, so I think there's gonna be 1,000 more episodes after the Thousand Sunny was created. So I'm thinking the final episode of One Piece is gonna be 1321. They're currently on 1122, and that's what I want to catch up before April. So I think that this show will end on 1321, and if not there, somewhere around there. So then the Thousand Sunny lasted 1,000 episodes. That's why it's 1,000 Sunny. I thought it'd be really funny because I've been hearing that it's slowly coming to an end. So that'd be interesting if they ended after their break, like they make 200 episodes and like the final episode's 1321. That'd be freaking wild. Like the name of the Thousand Sunny referenced the end of the show, and that'd be beautiful. But yeah, that's my dumb predictions. All right, and that's pretty much it for my dumb predictions for the show, and I'm definitely curious on where the show takes me, because I'm enjoying the journey so far, but I want to see, what happens later, and I hear it just gets better and better from here on out. I'm enjoying it so far, so I just can't wait to see what this arc this arc entails, and what future arcs, lead to the various gears, because I know that they're currently on Gear 5, I believe, but I have no idea, like, what it is, or, how he gets it. So I'm definitely hyped for the future, and I'm curious, like, what other crew members they get. In future episodes, I will kind of discuss my thoughts on the newer members, and maybe talk a little bit about the older ones, maybe bring up details I like about them. But yeah, I can't wait to finish this video so I can get freaking back to watching episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. I probably won't read them because I want to avoid spoilers as much as possible. But yeah, bye bye now.